We are live. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday morning. Life is moving on. We're moving forward. We're progressing. Hopefully and prayerfully, we're progressing, and hopefully and prayerfully, you're progressing. But let's get inspiration out there today. And the one question I was asking myself, which bubbled up early this morning, was how can I add more value? And that's a question I pose, and maybe it's a question that you need to ask. How can you add more value? So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about that in contrast by looking at the opposite, and that is, how do you undervalue? How do you undervalue? Like, how do you provide more value, but then how do you undervalue? So I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to jump back to this book that I've shared many times. And it's interesting how a lot of times I'll be thinking about what's relevant, what's a topic that I can bring up. And then I read this book, and it's almost like there's it feeds my mind, and it validates what I want to share. But how are you today? Wherever you are, God bless you. I just pray that you are staying centered, you are staying strong, you are giving back, you're loving in the face of whatever's happening, and you are becoming an active force in your own life, in your own breakthrough. You know, there's sticking points for all of us in our businesses, our lives, our relationship. There's these sticking points that once we become aware of them and we step through, we can break through. And when we break through, it's like it's the flashpoint. It's flashpoint. It's like boom. And then all of a sudden you feel it. You feel this amazing energy, and you get into action, and it becomes a state of flow. Most people operate in a state of force, because they're forcing themselves to do things that they don't want to do. And what I want to invite you to do is be more in a state of flow. Be more in a state of flow, less in a state of force. Certainly there's times we're going to need to get up and we're going to need to clean the toilet. We're going to need to take the trash out. And metaphorically speaking, for our business, our entrepreneurial journey, our families, our communities, there's things we're going to step up and do, maybe when we don't feel like it. But if you're committed and you got your purpose dialed in, you will get back into a state of flow. Flow. We want to flow. So let me just share this with you today, because this was fitting. I was talking about how can I add more value, and I'm open to your feedback. How can I add more value to you? How can I add more value to you? And then put the question on yourself. If you don't have a question yet today, ask yourself the question: how can I add more value to my family, to my community, to myself? What can I do to add more value? So let's look at the juxtaposition of that, and how do you undervalue yourself? Undervalue. So let me read this. June 9th, don't undervalue yourself. Be polite and generous, but don't undervalue yourself. You will be useful. At any rate, you may just as well be happy while you're about it. Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. said that in his work, Elsie Venner, written in 1861. Now, this is the author's reflection. One of the greatest ways to undervalue yourself is to consume more than you create. One of the greatest ways to undervalue yourself is to consume more than you create. It's so easy to get into the habit of consuming, not just stuff, but information that helps us undervalue ourselves. Low quality content, streaming videos. I trust that this is high quality content, but streaming videos of low quality content that helps you undervalue. Low quality content, streaming videos, social media, pretty much anything on BuzzFeed. You know, it's like candy. Like, some of this stuff's like candy for the mind. Your own negative thoughts, maybe? Is that what's streaming? Are you streaming your own negative thoughts that are undervaluing you? Here's the solution. Create, produce, innovate, build, write, sing, dance, do something. You're in control of your life. You may just as well be happy while you are about it. And here's the key question today. What's one source of information that you can block from your life right now? For me, I got a little caught up in the news and checking the news because of everything that's going on, because I want to stay informed, but we can cross the line and we can become hyper consumed because of all the charge, because it has such an emotional charge, and we want to provide value, but all we need to know is that we need to elevate our communities. There needs to be reform. There needs to be a change, but it's easy to become hyper focused on the news. So for me, that's one source that I want to at least keep in check, and I want to remove it, and then really avoid getting sucked into the narrative so that I stay on point, to what's important. So what one source can you remove from your life? Is it BuzzFeed? Is it some candy for the mind that you're getting lost in on social media that is not good? It's a time waster. Well, this is your opportunity to step out of that and be somebody who's creating, who's getting into life, who's becoming an active force in their own lives, and be more intentional. Right now is an opportunity to be intentional. Have you set an intention for this day yet? Have you set an intention? And I'll just leave you with this. How can I add more value to your current situation? We are working on many things that we want to bring to you to add more value, primarily to the side hustler. That's Flashpoint, the art and science of your big breakthrough, to create that breakthrough moment that that your side hustle is going to make it. And then number two is people going through a life transition. If you're going through a life transition right now, we have emergencylifecoach.com. That's up and available. And we're working on some relationship stuff too, because we know that relationships are going through a tough time right now. Many of them are, and we want to be a resource for you. So I just want to bring this to you today. How can I add more value? Maybe that's what you're going to take away from this, is you're going to say, how can I add more value? I saw that video. I'm going to ask myself that question. How can I add more value in my respective space so that I can be a light for people? Because as I said on yesterday's video, bad news travels twice as fast as good news. There you have it. Bad news travels twice as fast as good news. So all you need to do is ask yourself, what are you focusing on? What are you sharing? And if you check yourself and you make a change, maybe other people will do the same thing. God bless you, everyone. Have a fantastic day. This is your opportunity now. It's a great time in the face of chaos. It's a great time to start a business. It's a great time to invest. It's a great time to carve out time for intimacy in your relationship. It's just a great time to break through. These are the times when people break through. These are the days. These are the times when you can break through and you can look back and go, that's when I made that decision. That's when I knew I was going to make it. That's when I said, enough is enough. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to make it happen. So make it happen today. Break through in your life. Figure out what that looks like for you. And I'm here. Give me the feedback. How can I add more value to you? Have a fantastic day. Bye for now.